maybe.
Hello, welcome can't say it, still can't say it. Welcome to today's show. I need to change it to something that I can actually say. Anything but that. I don't know.
Welcome
But
to the nut house.
as I was just saying, there's no zooming in and out on the camera. Finally got it to link to the computer and go into settings. So it's all good. So welcome. Our guest this evening is Dawn Lester. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. Again,
you are more than welcome.
Good to be here.
It is. Unfortunately, Brandon's not going to be able to join us. He's got some stuff going on, so hopefully he'll be back with us next time that we do this. So good. That's it. That's all I've got. Anyone else want to say anything?
I've got no updates to kick us off. So let's just
Nothing.
What are we talking about today?
Oh, I have got an update.
What's the update?
I don't know if. So we're doing the Christmas special.
Mm-hmm.
So Wild Bill is coming on the 18th, Wednesday of December. Myself, you, and Tommy are doing the Christmas special.
Yes, we are.
Yes, but it gets better because it does. So, like the Halloween special, where we're reading out stories, 3 fake, 1 real, we're just going to find a load of real but very out there encounters.
Okay.
So the more out there, the better. And I'm going to be doing something else, but I'm not telling you until that night. I can tell you now, but I don't want to ruin it.
No, you gotta leave the people wanting more. We gotta see what it is.
All right.
We like the surprises.
This is going to be completely different. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
But I'll show you how you can do it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we putting filters on? Are we going to be aliens?
No. There's going to be filters, but they're not going to be that good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's nothing too exciting, unfortunately.
I'm sure it will be exciting.
Christmas tinsel.
I've got some. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can see.
Purple and blue. I've got one. And then I'm going to get a little Christmas tree that's going to go somewhere on there. Next to the Christmas gunk. if you can just about see it.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you got space there? There's plenty going on that shelf.
Yeah,
isn't
I'll
there?
just.
I know you got a
I'll-
lot there.
I've cleared loads of stuff. Cleared a load. I've even got a dog in the room, but all he does is sleep.
Oh,
He gets more sleep, and it's not the dog that was I posted the other day. So we took that one because it's Becky's sister. They've got 4 dogs, and one of them's in season, and he was attacking the other dogs and trying to with the one in season. So we said we'd take him for a couple of days, but it kind of wasn't working. So we've swapped him for an older one, still a Chihuahua. That's more laid back and chilled than that. Like more laid back, he just sleeps all the time. That's all he does. So we've got him now. He's called George. He's got one eye. His tongue sticks out, and he's 10 years old. But
oh, we
when we
need to
have him,
see this dog.
do you want to see
We
him
do.
now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Give me. I'm gonna have to wake. I'm gonna have to wake him. He's been asleep for about 5 days. Right. Give me 1 minute while I get him, and then you can have a look. One sec.
I
Okay.
love when people show their dogs or cats. Or
Yeah. If I mean, I haven't got any, but have you? Is that some dogs barking in your?
yeah,
Yours.
my daughter
Right.
just got off the bus, so they're going nuts downstairs. I have 2 corgis and a papillon.
Oh, right. So 3 dogs. That's
Yeah.
keeps you busy. Okay. Lovely.
Yep. 2 of them are puppies.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then my papillon's an old lady. She's like 14.
Oh, right. Does she look after the 2 little ones? Keep them in order?
No, she wants nothing to do with them.
Oh, really? Oh,
She hates
so
them. She's like, leave me alone.
Oh, do they try and play with her? Because I mean, that's what
Yeah.
puppies do.
Yep.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
This is George.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
hold
my
on.
gosh.
See that? Now look.
He's so cute.
Tongue sticks
Sweet.
out, and he
Aw.
just. That's it. That's
He's
all
so
he does.
snuggly.
Mm.
He
That's
smells.
adorable.
Don't you? What's up, Ping? Come
Yes.
on, woke you up.
Oh. Oh, you have to do the whole show like that now.
Yeah. Not that light, you know. Oh yeah. Hey.
Oh,
What he
it's
did, he
only
got on
little.
the bed. He got on the bed. He's got his own blanket on the bed, but he got in the bed, made a tunnel out of the quilt, went in it, and then pulled it over himself.
He tucked himself in.
And he's
Sweet.
been there since about 3 hours, just
Oh my
laying
gosh.
there. Yeah, not moving. Thank you.
Oh.
Aw.
You okay? You want to go back? Do you not care? Nothing. Just nothing.
Looks quite comfortable there.
Right? He's just
Yeah.
chilling.
He'd be fidgeting if he wasn't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
What
just
is
sits
it?
there and looks at you to pick you up. But the other one that was looking after, he'll sit. Carlos, he'd sit like a meerkat to tell you he wanted something. Just sat on his back legs with his hands like that.
Wow.
Oh, that's
yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right, I'm gonna put him back on the bed. I'll be 1 minute.
Okay.
He's getting quite heavy.
He's only tiny. How can he be heavy?
So cute.
Mm.
I think he
Yeah.
would have sat there and not moved the entire show.
I think so.
Possibly.
Too.
He would. He would. He would just. Oh, he's making his tunnel again.
He got to tuck himself back in.
I wouldn't mind. There's a throw on the bed. He's got his blanket. There's a quilt and everything, and he's just, no, I'll make myself a tunnel.
Must be a habit he's had from whenever, so it's not like suddenly. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it could be a new trick because dogs can
dogs,
learn
new tricks.
Yeah, yes, new
Yeah.
tricks, exactly. Yeah.
Well, he's 10, so
Is that old?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the average age, older age is about 14, isn't it?
I mean, different dogs,
don't
different.
know.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, but
I don't know.
Depends on the type of life they've had and
Yeah.
how well they're
Liz
looked
hasn't
after.
been too good. He lost his eye because he was in a fight, and I don't know about the tongue. I think it's just his like genetics.
Aw.
So that's all I know. He's gone back to sleep. What a surprise!
Well,
Oh, and
I'd jump in. Well, I mean, I'm not going to start off as a controversy, but I'd say it wouldn't be his genetics as such. But anyway, but just habits, behaviors, and habits. Yeah.
yeah. No, he's well gone, so it's all good.
I won't start on too strong a note, but I mean, we might go there. Depends on where you want to go tonight, this evening.
Ooh,
Where are we going?
which rabbit hole do we choose?
I know.
Well, do you want to explore what you'd started saying before we went live?
Yes. So
Do
in
that.
Dawn's book, this one here, What Really Makes You Ill, that it's like the way that Dawn's laid it out with, stop me if I get this wrong, because I probably will. The way it's so you've got the singular words and the true meaning of each. We talk like wordsmiths and that. You've got that a particular word and what it actually means, as opposed to what we're told it means. So it's just it's a go-to book to like for reference and all that. And there's one of the words in there, and it's safe, right? So you'd think safe is, no pun intended, but a safe word. Safe as a complete opposite meaning.
Hmm.
And I'll
What
let
does safe
Dawn
really
explain.
mean?
I'll let Dawn explain because
if I mean that's one of the things looking at words, you think, well, okay, what does this word mean? Because we know we need to have a look at what the word actually means to see if it's being used in the correct context. So the word safe, and I haven't got the book in front of me, so I don't know what I can't remember the dictionary definition exactly, but it means that there's nothing that can go wrong. I mean, its general meaning is in an absolute term. Safe means safe, not relatively safe, and that's the problem with the meaning according to the medical system, which is, well, it's a relative term. It's safe as long as it's subject to certain conditions. So as long as you don't use too much, it's safe. As long as you don't have too much, as long as you're not exposed to too much, it's safe. It's safe at this level. So it's a relative term, not an absolute term. Whereas in terms the dictionary meaning is an absolute term. Safe means you are safe. Nothing's going to happen. And there's quite a few, and it's used in various ways where the general meaning, that's how we feel the word safe. I mean, if I said to safe to you, you think that's okay, no harm, there'd be no harm. Where they go, well, it's safe, there's no harm at this level. So again, like I say, relative, and it's used in so many different places, the term safe. And of course, we have that meaning, and we interpret that meaning according to the general definition. And so it's all changed. I am going to be sort of careful with some of the things I say. I'm not going to set off the trigger alarms with too many words. But but again, it's I think in these general terms, again, it's and yes, a lot of people do say that it's like a reference book, because it's the way it's laid out, certainly with the contents. You can go and dip in and look at different things and get information, even though it is, a lot of information is cross-referenced to different chapters, different places, but you can still look something up and get an idea of a particular. It's not always conditions either. It's not, we don't go through all different. It's not like a disease type. But it's information, so you just go through, and people say they use it that way. They just dip in and out, use it as a reference work, and then sort of have a look and say, oh, what does it say about X, Y, Z? But
like my interpretation of the way that you wrote safe and like the meaning of it was, like you said, it's safe to that limit, but as soon as you cross that, whatever the thing is it's talking about can become dangerous, poisonous, could kill you, do harm, anything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's a rough guideline, is
But
what
isn't
it
that
actually is.
anything?
Yeah, but the word
Too much of
safe.
anything isn't
Yeah,
safe. Like even water. If you drink
but
too much water,
Ah,
it's not
right. Okay.
safe.
Well, is that
it's
okay?
that
That's an
thin
argument.
line.
Yes, I've come across that as well. It's not that it's water never become okay. Again, sort of it's yeah. Looking at what water is, and again, depends on what water you're talking about. If you're talking about tap water, chances are it's not safe. At certain levels, it's okay, even if it is tap water and it's got all kinds of toxins in it. It's okay. It can be okay, depending on, again, so these are all relative terms because it depends on the condition of your body, which is where we get into the, the what's called the terrain paradigm. So if your body is healthy, it can process a certain amount of toxins and not be too much affected by it. If you're talking about clean water, which has got no toxins, it is safe. It's nothing other than safe. It's just if people have too much, it's because it then messes up the balance in the body, and it actually, well, I mean, it's sort of, that's a technical term, messes it up. But it puts the body out of balance, and
Yeah.
so it just it can be too much. At the same time, people do really long water fasts, and they live only on water.
Yeah.
For weeks. They can do that for weeks. So I would dispute that water is ever unsafe. But there's the thing called water intoxication, which is probably what you're referring to, and I've heard that when people have the people drink a lot in a very short period of time, so it just so it's actually too much for the system to handle. It just can't handle that amount of water. I would still suggest that that's not the only factor involved in whatever happens afterwards, because we're just so used to this one thing causes one thing, and that's just not the way the body works. That's not how health is, and they're always a complex mix. So even if it is a situation is put down to water intoxication, I suggest it's extremely likely that other factors were involved. So not just a lot of water is I still wouldn't say it's toxic, but I mean, water, I mean, the more we find out about water and its importance, and if you've looked at the work of Veda Austin and just there's something about water that is not what we're told. It's not straightforward H2O, and so it's fundamental to life. So I feel that it's not. It's the one thing that never becomes toxic. It isn't. So and I totally understand what you're saying, because we've got this term water intoxication. It's just, having looked at a lot of these different things, you start to realize that it's not quite straightforward. Oh, a lot of water kills you. It just isn't, or it's poisonous. It's not. It's because it dilutes whatever. But as I say, people have these really long water fasts. So if they're living only on water, it can't possibly be toxic, because people actually restore. Again, being careful here. People can have a good outcome from health conditions, shall we say, just by water alone.
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
So I just
Disclaimer for YouTube: we are not doctors. This is entertainment purposes only.
Oh yes, disclaimer. Yes, this is not
Yes.
medical advice. This is just information gathered from years of research, I will add. But yes, just and
YouTube doesn't always like years of research.
Sorry, that
said YouTube doesn't always appreciate years of research.
Oh no. Well, yes, and again, not just mine. I mean, various people's, because that's what's in the book. It's gathering a lot of information from a lot of places, from mainly, well, for the comfort factor for people reading it. It is mainly from doctors who actually had a look at the mainstream system and thought, there's something wrong here.
I was actually, as you was talking about that, I was flicking through and I've found water. So if anyone's got the book and you go to page 321, and it starts off with poisoned water.
Well, yeah, because that's
water chlorination.
That's
and
one of the ways it's poisoned. Yes.
Yeah. Water fluoridation. So chlorine and fluoride.
The fluoride, yeah. There's a lot of talk about the fluoride.
There's more to it than that, more poison waters. These are just some of the subheadings underwater. So, and these pages and pages of information.
Well,
so,
the thing
that's
it's
quite a big book.
Couple of evenings,
Yeah.
Flick through. You'll be through it in a couple of evenings. The thing with water chlorination is it goes back to one of the main things that we've been talking about the last 5 years is the reason chlorine's used is to kill germs, and this is the problem, that's the wrong way of looking at things. So yeah, because these invisible enemies aren't even enemies anyway, and so that's where we're made to look, which is why we have to do the kill the nasties, and that's completely the wrong way of looking at it all. But of course that's the way that it works for the medical industry, because then they can say, oh, they can blame these invisible enemies because we can't see them, so we don't know, we just have to trust. And so you have to trust these people and trust the authorities and listen to them, because how do we know? Because we're, we can't see them. So, we've got no way of knowing. And of course we just trust, and then people believe in it. And of course, then they follow the instructions to do all these different things because these people are supposed to know. But once you find out, then people say, well, it's what is it? Because they still got this idea. And this is what I'm saying about the simple single, the single problem caused by a single factor that then has a single solution. So it's like, you've got this, you do this, that's the solution. And it just is not, that's not the way, because we're exposed to all sorts of different things. And it's not just physical. It's not just these physical toxins, it's the emotional stresses as well.
Yeah, well, you go into all that as well, though, don't you?
We do.
Like the mental side to everything. But I noticed when I did start, I have been reading bits of it because there's no way I could remember all that information. But you'll read a bit and you go back and you read it 3 or 4 times. Not so much because get an understanding of it. It's more you've read it, it's like, oh my God, and you read it again because it hits home. It's like the reality kicks in from the different things that have been written in there. And it's like, wow. And the more you read it, the more it makes sense. So that's why you end up reading it like 5, 6, 7 times. It could only be a paragraph. It could be 3, 4 pages, but it does that to you. Oh, it's done that to me anyway. I'm guessing other people have had the same effect on them.
Yes, thank you. I mean, plenty of people have said that it's made such a difference, and it's changed their lives. It's saved them, saved their families from certainly in what's been going on the last, well, certainly from 2020 to 2022 or whatever. So and there's still stuff being put out, these different ideas of what's out there. So again, it's the fear thing, and we're made to fear not just these invisible entities. It's also to fear each other, so to keep away from each other and not
the social distancing.
Well, we're feeling that over here right now with all the so we're feeling that over here right now with all the political things. Everybody's very divided right now.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
they've really done a good job of dividing people, and it's also filtered into. I mean, I don't know if it's a true movement as such, but what's often called the you know, the sort of truther movement or freedom movement or whatever. I mean, it's divided a lot of people, because some are still, you know, looking at the political system as being a viable solution, which, you know, I question. But that's another, you know, um, and yeah, it's there are so many factors, and of course, you know, part of it is because Kamala's a woman, so you know, everyone who's, you know, in that sort of ideology is upset that the woman lost. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
So again, you know, there are so many different ways that people are being divided or in this political thing. I mean, is it mainly on the sort of, you know, right left, Nicole? I mean, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Or are they doing it on the gender thing as well? On the, you know, because she's a woman, she lost.
That too. That too. Yeah. It's gender. It's the politics. It's do you want cheaper groceries or do you want human rights? It's very like, well, you have to be on one side of the other or the other. You can't want both.
Oh, so
Really?
do you
Yeah.
want to live or do you want to live? Let me think.
Yeah.
That makes
It's
so much
crazy.
sense.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's the point, that, you know, because these are, I mean, it's a logical fallacy. These are false dichotomies. You go, well, why do we have to choose? You go, yeah, let's have both. Let's have all of it.
Yes.
It's not, you know, and that's where a lot of people have fallen in to just following these ideologies and not realizing they're being played.
yeah. But surely human rights are a natural thing. I understand the price of groceries going up due to import and export and all that, and the cost of like machinery and that, especially for produce, like for collecting from the fields and all. I get that, and then right, food that's manufactured, not so much manufactured, but processed in factories and that, like when it's tinned up or put in jars. I get all that, and then the wages are going up, so they've got to keep putting the prices up. That makes sense, but to be given it's one or the other is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yep. Because
Well,
people feel like if they voted one way, they're voting for, you know, a stronger economy, you know, the gas prices are going down, grocery prices are going down. But if they voted the other way, they're voting for, you know, human rights, women's rights, LGBT rights. It's like you shouldn't have to pick.
No.
Well, yes, and the whole thing of, you know, rights, it's as if it's something that they can take away as well. So you go, well, you know, well, you've chosen not to have human rights, so it's no, it's completely misleading. And again, if you want to go into the whole, you know, meanings of these words and whatever, you look into the whole legal thing. Human is not, it's not what we think of human. There's, you know, hue as in HUE, you know, color, whatever. There's all these different meanings to it. So, you know, we are men and women, and we have innate rights as living beings. And those, I mean, not even rights, you know, there's, and that's how we live. You know, it's the sort of internal innate morality of not doing harm to others. You know, I mean, like they say, that's the golden rule. Yeah, well, okay, there's only one rule. Yeah, just
But it's like, to turn that round a little bit and put that on animals, the endangered species. They probably have more rights to survive than what humans do at the moment. By the way things are going.
Yeah.
Or it ain't far off, to be honest.
You probably have some stricter penalties for like
harming
an endangered animal than another person.
Exactly. It's like
Hey,
in
nothing
the UK.
nothing against endangered animals. I love the pandas.
No. But these certain parts of the country in the UK where they've got there's a place where I go to, I was there today, and it's the only place I know where ducks cross the road and you have to stop to let them cross. If you go through and run them over, I know you can't anyway, but in this particular part of southern England, if you used to go through, you would be arrested and put in prison. Same with frogs and toads. More toads than frogs.
Right, but how do you avoid a toad? Half the time you can't even see it.
No,
Not
exactly.
at night. No, not when
No.
it's dark. Yeah.
Ducks you can, because today there's like 5 million, and I
Yeah.
had to wait like 10 minutes.
And I'm
So-
totally on board with that. Don't purposely hit a duck.
Oh no,
Like you're just awful if you do that. Or a toad.
Exactly.
Don't purposely hurt
Well,
any animal.
Well,
but even
absolutely.
but even if you used to do it unintentionally, it's
Mhm.
like with pheasants. I've hit a few pheasants. You just run out and you can't do anything other than go into a ditch or hit a tree before hitting that. Sometimes you can't avoid it. I got one and its neck was stuck in my grill, and I was on the and I couldn't stop
Ooh.
until I got to a lay-by, and I had to pull it out. And
Ew.
I didn't use my hands. I used my foot and just kicked it out, and then moved it to the side of the
Ew.
road. It was like, it wasn't good. It wasn't my best day, but it's like
You didn't do it intentionally.
no, I was on the
I would hope
motorway,
not.
and
No,
I was on the
that's what I'm saying.
motorway,
You weren't.
and it
You
just
weren't
ran in front of me.
intentionally.
I couldn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, there's a pheasant. Let's chase it through that field.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And there's the
Yeah.
difference. They're
Yeah.
these things are accidents. I mean, there's quite a bit about what's done to animals in the in medical research. There's a section called it's vivisection in the book. And it's amazing how many people who are animal lovers are just totally unaware of what actually happens in the name of medical research.
Well, all I'm going to say is there's a beagle farm near where I live, not that far away.
I know.
And I hate driving past that place. They've got the caravans and the campers and the big Winnebagos and that on the road at the side.
Yes, I know where that is.
24. Yeah.
Because I went to there's a festival that's held not too far away. That's in that place. I went past it, and there was a lot of protesting, and they're still there. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That last time I went past probably about 2-3 months ago, and the first time I went past was probably about 7 years ago, and there's still the same number of people there now as what there was then.
Incredible.
And you can see these labs are literally like 100 yards off the road, just there, like these little white buildings.
Aww.
And it's just, it's one of, you don't want to know, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
do
I get
you know what I mean?
where animal testing is sometimes necessary, but I think there's alternatives in a lot of cases.
Humans that have done wrong should be tested on.
Get the
straight away.
the child predators. Let's test on them.
Yeah, the non-nice ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't think any child predator is nice.
Well, no, but I meant criminals. I meant the extreme criminals.
Yes.
Is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there are a lot of, again, because of the way that the laws are going, there are a lot of people who have the label of criminal and for reasons that are totally ridiculous. There's just, they didn't do anything wrong. I don't know, they maybe didn't follow one of these silly rules, or they didn't pay a fine for something that's a ridiculous
Maybe
thing.
they chose food instead of human rights and lost.
Oh, not even that. They chose to be on the streets peacefully, but they were
yes,
right. They were being peaceful and expressing themselves peacefully, which is it is allowed under law to express yourself peacefully. They weren't doing anything, and they were given these labels of I can't remember anyway, but so they've been made to be criminals. It's crazy.
Yeah. But did you know, I know a couple of people that work in law enforcement, and one of them a few years ago was telling me that they can claim that 3 people protesting can be classed as a riot.
What?
Yep.
3. A riot.
Wow.
3 people, and they can class it as a riot if they really want to.
I'm sorry, have they seen our riots over here? Like, we got some good riots.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
yeah, it's stupid little things and like I suppose like bylaws, aren't they? Well,
Mhm.
not laws. Just stuff that's passed through House of Commons, House of Lords, whatever. But yeah,
Have
it's
you ever looked up like the craziest laws? I don't know what they have in the UK, but in the
oh
US, we have some really wild, like antiquated laws that they just never got rid of. So,
yeah,
like, hey, it's illegal in some places for women to wear pants still. Like, it's not enforced, but it's still a law that is actually
I,
like on
yeah.
the books.
I know
Wow.
there's some states in America and parts of Russia where you're not allowed to put male and female underwear on the same washing line outside.
No.
Yep. In the UK, there's a
Wow.
lot of Sunday laws due to religious beliefs and all that. You're not allowed to beat your carpet outside on a Sunday. Like when they used to go outside beating the rugs, you can't do it on a
Yeah.
Sunday. You're
Yeah.
not allowed to post chewing gum, like put chewing gum in the mail in Russia.
Alrighty,
Okay.
shoot or
Don't
brand
know
new
why.
gum.
You wasn't allowed to buy a living creature on a Sunday. You could,
Oh.
so most pet stores, you could go in, but you could only buy food and accessories. You couldn't actually buy the animal that you wanted. I don't
Right.
know if that still stands.
Okay.
There's a few
There are
weird
some crazy,
things.
they are some
Mhm.
crazy, yeah, there are some crazy things still on the statute books. What have you come across, Nicole? I mean, anything in particular?
Baby Blue Laser said in the States there was a county that banned eating ice cream on a Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
I
What's
know.
the what's the justification for that? I mean, what kind of
When else can you have an ice cream sundae if not on a Sunday?
well,
very
there
true.
you go. That's what nickname just said. Puts a spin on
Yeah.
ice cream Sunday. But it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Well, yes.
nuts. Like it's like things, stupid things. Like you're not allowed to walk your alligator in public. Who the hell is walking an
Oh,
alligator in public?
but you
Well, that's
do know,
go on.
sorry, nothing against the Welsh, but um, on a certain day of the year, you are allowed to carry a bow and arrow at a certain time if you're an Englishman and fire it at a Welsh person, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
It's like the
It's
purge.
one day. I,
That's
that
still on the
there's more
statute
to it.
books.
That's been since something like
Hmm.
1200 and some.
What
Someone in
the
the chat will
quite?
know about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So these are like
That's
pre
Wow.
everything.
yeah, and that's the
There's
point. They're left on the statute books.
because
And
they have to have laws in place. It's like when we left Brexit, we couldn't leave as such because if we'd have left, all these laws would have been null and void, and it could have been the purge, literally, because they didn't have anything else in place. So they had to make all this up. Oh, sorry, I just see what Simon put. They had to make all these laws really quick because the laws that we had were part of the EU. We weren't allowed something we weren't allowed to have the same laws. But yeah, there's stupid stuff like that.
Nickname said
very
some are
good.
very ancient. You can hit your partner with a stick exists.
Does
Where
it?
where is that legal? Nickname?
Everywhere.
Where can you hit your partner with a stick?
And
Cross the
and
back
this,
cross the back
yeah,
of the head.
yeah, and the interesting thing is that they say that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and uh, however, I would actually ask, which lawyer knows all of these laws?
Yeah.
We're supposed to, yeah, but
Mhm.
I,
they don't. I mean, and especially something like that, these kinds of laws are just. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, the law is an ass. Yeah.
I remember when I lived in Ireland and some of the laws over there,
Oh,
they
okay.
were that ridiculous. I can't remember, but if someone said to me, it would trigger and I'd remember what they were. But there's some it's like, oh my god. It's
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just shows that there's been efforts.
We're going
Uh,
to Wales next year.
oh,
We'll have
right.
to check
Oh,
what day it is.
The stick can't be thicker than your thumb.
Okay.
Robin because yeah.
It's
It's
a decent. You
quite a
can still
thick
get a
one.
pretty decent sized stick.
Made of metal. No one says it has to be made of wood.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm
Well,
going
again,
a bit. It's
again,
gone dark again,
definitions.
hasn't it?
But that's what I was saying about all these different words and
Yeah,
how we've
yeah.
been how we have been misled and are still being misled, and that the inversion of all these different words, and we have an idea of what we think they mean. But even sometimes, if you look at the definition now, it's very different from the definition of, say, I don't know. There's a dictionary. I think it's 1826 or 20. I think it's 1828. There's a dictionary you can look up, and the meanings are very different from what they are now, because they are twisting. And what happened, in 2020 with a particular word that I'm not going to use, but starts with V. These invisible enemies. The meaning of that word has definitely been changed to be something that has never been proven to be true. And so everyone believes it's a thing, and it's not. The original meaning of the word is poison. And in that context,
Yes.
it's true. That is what
Yeah.
what it is.
There's a thing with that.
Yeah.
You're going to love this.
Go on
Nicole
then.
loves it when I try and explain something without explaining it. So with the word that begins with V and the word safe, there's a particular ingredient in the V. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that V.
The
The other one.
Yeah.
The one that gets put into your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So this particular liquid metal has a different name, and there was a safe limit of how much they could put in the Sharpie pen on your arm as part of the 2-year ruling. And they changed it from something like 20 milligrams to 20,000 overnight, and everyone was all right about it.
They
And it
probably
was
just didn't know.
Darren in the chat that told me that the other day.
Well, the other thing is that there are certain ingredients that don't have to be disclosed if they're below a certain level. And one of the things with that particular ingredient is that it's not, it's now said, it's not put into these things, into these products, these injectable products. So, it's not put in there. So it's not an ingredient. It is used as in part of the process. And they can be what's called a sort of trace element. It could be a trace, but because it's not an ingredient, they don't have to actually. Well, that's what we're talking about. That sort of form of that particular the soft metal, the liquid metal. So we are, it's not an ingredient, so they're not disclosing it, but it's used. And again, that's in the book. It's used as part of the processing to, I can't remember exactly, maybe a preservative or something. And they say they remove it, but it's not 100% removed. And so there may be traces left.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, so there's traceless, but they don't have to acknowledge that.
No,
So
because
these
I've
are
noticed
the little things you find when you really dig deep.
But I found something else.
Oh, go on.
And it's in plain sight. So when going grocery shopping, certain products, I'll look to see what's in them. Like mainly foods that I don't eat often, or I used to have as a kid and not had for quite a while. And I'll be looking on the back to see what's in it, and it'll say, always in small, it'll say this product was used in, it's not word for word, but this product was used in a factory that is used for making that contains nuts.
Yeah.
So may have nut trace. They don't put it in the ingredient, they put it on the back. So if you're allergic to nuts and you don't look at that, and you have a, what's it called?
A nut allergy.
Like a nut allergy.
Yes.
Thingy
But
shock,
again,
your
anaphylaxis.
anaphylactic shock.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can cause that, and it could only be a little tiny trace of it that's needed.
Well,
Mhm.
we cover peanut allergy in the book as well. It's in there.
Yeah.
And it's not quite that. It's not just that people are allergic. It's because of the way the peanuts are grown. It's not
the
the
process.
process. Well, it's not the process. It's the pesticides that are used because, and certainly in
Ah,
America, and that's why it's much more of a problem in America than it is in this country.
right.
And if anyone's interested, organic peanuts are not grown in the same way. Again, you might want to look into these things, but in America, it's quite commonly grown in rotation with cotton. And cotton isn't a food product, so they can use as much pesticide as they want on it. And it's quite often grown using Roundup. So because the stuff is soaks into the soil, and then they
Yeah.
rotate it with the peanut crop, then the peanut crop is being grown in soil that's got this Roundup in it.
Yeah.
And it's also
Oh.
sprayed with all sorts of things. So it's because a peanut is not a true nut. It's what they call a legume. It grows under the soil again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
funny
again,
story.
No,
it's
no, no.
absorbing.
Mhm.
So it's absorbing what's under the ground, and then
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's I would say something that people would need to take into account rather than the nut itself, because there's people have been eating nuts forever, so that there's no
Yeah. Well, I'll
there's
go all
no
of a
reason
sudden.
for what's called
Mhm.
allergy. Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
called an allergy is a sensitivity to something in the nut, and that's one of the main factors. That's certainly something that we found out in the research, and that makes sense. Now, it
It's
could
really
be other
funny
factors. Yeah, go on.
that we're talking
Yeah.
about this though, because my husband, he has eaten bananas his whole life. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he developed like a severe like banana allergy.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Like hives, like throat swell, everything a couple years ago. And I was like, it has to be something that's like changed. You don't just develop an allergy like that. I mean, maybe you do. I'm not an allergist,
No.
but like not like that overnight.
That's quite sudden. So something has changed in the way they are growing or producing, or something to do with the way
Mhm.
Yeah.
with the bananas. So have you tried getting organic bananas?
I have not.
Um, it's again just a question. It's
Yeah.
One day when I
whether
get
you.
really mad at him, I'll try it.
And if it's not as thick as your thumb, you can hit him with it. But I've just found, sorry, just quickly, I've just found the food allergy warning, which is about the size of a UK stamp. So it's probably about that big. I just happen to
Oh,
have one.
as big as that. Okay.
So that's on the back of a jar or can, and it says food allergy warning. Our food may contain or have come in contact with peanuts, tree nuts, soy, eggs, wheat, fish, shellfish, or dairy products. Please speak to your server if you have any concerns. And it's in little tiny writing. You wouldn't even. I've had to zoom in to read it because it's actual size and it is minute.
And at the
Now
same
see if
time,
mine says anything.
look at how many foods they're saying that people are now allergic to. I mean, 20 years ago, how many people were allergic to so much stuff? And I really, and again, this is my opinion based on research, and I'm open to being wrong if somebody can show me
Yeah.
some evidence that it's to do with the way things are now grown, produced, manufactured, and a lot of it could well be to do with, again, if it's a manufactured product, because again, that's something that's in the book, the food additives and all the stuff that's added to these products. So it's not that there are, those food items are the things that people have allergies to. It may just be to do with the chemicals that they're using now in all their additives.
Yeah. But
Can I just tell you, I was reading this
Oh, okay.
to see if it had any like, warnings on it. Do not exceed 2 per day.
She had about 38 the other night.
No wonder my heart was like exploding.
Wow.
Oops.
But I've just typed in food allergies, and the 8 that I
Okay.
rhymed off: milk, eggs, fish, crustaceans, seafish, shellfish, soybeans, wheat, peanuts, tree nuts. Yeah, and they all have the same effects of itching and tightness of the throat, wheezing and difficulty breathing, vomiting and diarrhea and stomach cramps, swelling and itching of the lips, tongue or mouth, and hives. Stop. Oh, but this is for children. Stop the child from eating the food. But what if it's an adult?
Stop the adult from eating the food.
Well, there is that. So, right, going to how the body works. The body, you know, if there's vomiting and
It's,
diarrhea, that's because your
it's trying
body
to
is saying,
push it out.
that's saying, get this stuff out of me.
Yeah,
Now, it doesn't
rejecting it.
mean that it doesn't mean it's an allergy. It's just there's something that in whatever that product is that the body is not recognizing as being nourishment or nourishing or food. You know, it's like, because I mean, you know, like food is something that's supposed to provide nourishment. So the body's saying there's something in this that is not good, and it's getting it out. So it's expelling it. That's, you know, in the quickest way possible. So all these other symptoms are indications of an irritation. So something has irritated, and like you said, there's a whole range of different foods, but they're causing this the same range of symptoms. So there's a common irritant. I mean, I don't mean it's the same one, and I'd suggest it, you know, it could be a range of different chemicals, but it's probably chemical based rather than the food itself, because people have been eating those foods for a very long time without having problems. So what has changed is they're now being produced in factories that are using all sorts of other chemicals. That's my opinion based on what I've looked into. So it's blaming the food. It's like blaming the invisible enemy. They're blaming the food. Oh, it's, you know, it's fish. Oh, you're just allergic to fish, so don't eat fish, or whatever it is, or nuts, or whatever it is. Rather than looking at deeper, which is what's going on in these food factories. And again, that's covered in the book in terms of the food additives and the chemicals. And there's now very you know, there are more and more chemicals, because if you look at some of these packet, you know, the ingredients, it's like a whole list of things, and you go, what is this stuff? You can't even pronounce it. So there's less and less real food in these products. So again, it's just being, and it's not to scare people, it's just, you know, so you're aware of what you're putting in your body. That's all. It's just an awareness, because you become aware, then you can make choices. And it's about, for me, it's to share information so that you're at least making informed choices, rather than only getting one side of or one part of the information, which is what they want you to know, because they don't want us looking at what are the far more likely causes. So again, you know, look at these invisible enemies, look at these, you know, these allergies. Oh, it's the stuff, it's your own fault, you're doing this, that, and the other, rather than the other stuff that's going on, which is much more chemical based. And it's not to scare people, because the body is pretty good at doing a certain amount of clearing. But if you've got certain symptoms, it doesn't mean you've got a disease. It means your body is responding to something that it's not happy with.
Yeah. And like this says natural flavoring, but like, what is natural flavoring?
And well, that's another word. That's an excellent observation, because that's another word that's been really twisted, because we think natural is just like natural. It's, you know, it's something that's just out in nature. Well, that's not what the food industry means by it. So again, that's covered in the book. So natural, just and I don't know what they mean by it, but it certainly isn't what we think it means. I mean, if in terms of flavoring, okay, if something says strawberry flavoring or strawberry flavor, it can mean that they've, in terms of the flavorists, there's a whole industry, flavorings industry. I mean, it's incredible when you start digging what you find out. And in terms of strawberry, it can take 30 different chemicals to make the flavor
To
strawberry.
create it, yeah. But
And
did
not one
you
of
kn-
them is a strawberry.
no? But did you know there's a difference between something flavored and something flavor?
Oh,
So if it's
yes.
strawberry flavor and strawberry flavored, if it's flavor, it's more likely to be artificial. I think it is. And if it's flavored, it might have had a strawberry dipped in it for 2 seconds,
Well,
and that's
yeah,
it.
if you're lucky. If you're
It's
lucky,
Hmm.
seen
yes.
it's seen a strawberry. Put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah. Mm.
Whereas the other one is don't even know what one looks like.
Do you
Yeah.
know where raspberry flavoring comes from?
No, go on.
Pigs.
Beaver anal glands.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that. Sorry, I do know now. Yes, I'd forgotten. Yes, I have heard that. Yes. And if you want to talk about animal cruelty, who's going around grabbing the beavers and, messing them about to get whatever the.
Who found that out?
Yeah. Well, precisely. Yeah. Yes.
That's where the
I
main
was like,
concern
this
is.
kind of tastes like raspberry.
Yeah.
Ew.
No.
Well, I wonder that about a lot of like animal products. Who decided like I'm gonna eat this, or like let's
Well,
milk a goat?
can I just say that's what I'm drinking tonight, or was raspberry crush vodka,
It's called
beaver
castoreum,
juice.
and it's in it. Does it have castoreum in it? Does it say?
Oh, I can't see.
That's the whole point. You're not supposed to read these labels. They don't want you to read them. They make them too small and indecipherable.
It doesn't actually tell you. It just says
After all that.
don't drink more than 14 units a week.
Well, yeah. Well, it's alcohol, so units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
What's
tell
a
me.
unit?
A shot.
Okay.
Yeah. So one Sambuca shot is 1 unit, and that's it. That's all you can. So in the UK, you're allowed 1 unit before you can drive. People think it's 1 pint, but if you have a strong lager, that could be like 2, nearly 3 units. Do you like a vodka VWK Wicked? Vodka Wicked.
Mhm.
They're what the 250ml bottles. They're 1.8 units. So if you have one of them, you're over the limit straight away.
See, we have to do things really complicated here, like we have to do the blood alcohol concentration, so it's like by percents. You wouldn't know that unless you blow into a breathalyzer.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just kind of have to like guess.
But the thing, you can refuse a breathalyzer. You can refuse to have your bloods taken by saying you are scared of needles, and then they have to get a physician in to come in to do your blood or urine. Oh, you ask for a urine sample. You tell them you don't need to go to the toilet. There's lots of different loopholes, but they've got it's so long before they can get somebody in to physically take it from you by law, and by then it's probably passed through you and going to be under the limit anyway. Which I don't agree with any of that. I think if someone is clearly drunk, you should be able to take it. That's where human rights change. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's
but
different.
not even like you shouldn't be able to maybe like take their blood alcohol content, but if
No, because everyone's
you are
different.
visibly impaired, you shouldn't be driving anyway.
Yeah.
Like no matter what is impairing you. If it's, you took a NyQuil, like you shouldn't be able to drive if you were impaired.
Right. I've got a story,
point.
and this
Good point.
is a true story, right? There's a
Okay.
guy that I know. He was in the UK Army. He had about 8 cans of strong, like Stella, which is like 5% proof. He crashed a car. There's a few of them in. He was going back to the army base. He was pulled. He was breathalyzed. It was showing like next to nothing alcohol in his system.
Wow.
If that had been me, obviously I wouldn't have drove. I wouldn't been able to see, walk, or anything for about 4 days. So the comparison of the blood alcohol in the human body is different per person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it
because we're not
depends
all
on
the
like your
same.
weights and your metabolism and everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, again, we are different, that, yeah. And also somebody who's, who doesn't drink can have one drink and just be completely out of it. And somebody
That's me.
who's used to drinking can drink loads and
Yeah, not touch them.
still be
Yep.
appearing to be function normally. That's not, now again, whatever. It's just again
Observation.
how our bodies are and how we react. Again, if we're not used to something, a little bit can affect us. Whereas if once your body becomes accustomed, or what your body does is adapt to
Yeah.
whatever it is. So you think you're okay. It's just that your body has adapted. And that's why when people stop something, they can have they can have reactions, withdrawal symptoms,
Yeah.
because their body is used to having whatever it is, and so it's got to rebalance itself. And I mean, so if you're taking something to replace something your body would normally make, when you stop taking it, your body then has to restart its own processes to make what it is that's no longer coming in from from what you
Yeah.
are in, from your intake. You're not consuming it, so the body's got to restart its own production system, and that can take a little while, and it gets so the balancing. But again, we are different anyway. I mean, that's the point, that the medical system doesn't uh, thinks we're all machines and we're all the same. So that's why the same pills given for this, whatever the
Yeah.
for each person that has the symptoms. But that's why it's people respond differently, because we are all different. And it's not always, oh, you've got this one thing, so this one pill does it. And it just isn't. It just isn't that. It's not complicated. I mean, the body is complex, but it's not complicated. It's just that's not how it works. So that system is just, well, no, we need to start looking in a different way.
Because
And
that's. Sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say, a lot of people are starting to look at how the body actually works and really understanding it. And, like I say, with the terrain, and understanding that the body actually is amazing. It looks after itself.
Yeah.
It does an incredible job. And it's not just the physical aspect to it, is the emotional side. And that's something I'm looking more and more into and researching, because and it's not just German new medicine, which is, again, part of it, but there are, certain parts of the body are affected by certain emotions or certain past events in our lives, and the way we feel about ourselves, can affect us in different places. So,
Yeah.
it's just because you've got a backache, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a physical back issue. It could be an emotional thing. And there's
Yeah.
books I've read. Dr. John Sarno looked into that, and he said, I can't remember the exact percentage, but something like 70% of people who have back issues don't have it's not due to something physical. It's due to some kind of emotional thing. It's quite often that they're looking after other people, not looking after themselves. I mean, there's it's much more complicated than that, but it's not a physical thing. There's nothing wrong with their back, but their back hurting, or whatever the pain is the body trying to give them a message that there's something wrong in terms of what they're doing in their lives, in emotionally, and they're some kind of repressed emotion or something.
I got told
with people. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry, I got told that's referred pain, because I was just going to say, I had back problems a few years ago, and I was out of work for about 18 months, and the doctor kept saying it's referred pain. I was having acupuncture and physio and all that, but the tablets that they put me on, right, I won't say the name of it, you could probably guess, both of you. It goes, these are not just like slow release painkillers, they're for 9 different things, including diabetes, depression. I don't like, they're the two that stuck in my head. How am I on painkillers that are also used for them two ailments?
Oh yeah, there is like a something that's for nerve pain, but it also treats like addiction, and it can be abused, and so a lot of people are actually addicted to that. So it causes addiction, it helps with addiction symptoms. helps with nerve pain. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, there are things that help with pain, but the pain isn't the problem. The pain is an indication of something else that's underlying. And if you're
Yeah.
just dealing with the pain, you're not dealing with the underlying problem.
Exactly,
it
because like I haven't slept. I don't sleep anymore. I'm up and down all night.
so all them
And
cans of energy drink, that's right.
I mean, probably. But like, yes, I could go to the doctor and I could get like a sleeping pill, or I could, try to figure out why I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes, that I would suggest. Again, not for me. Just throwing out my thoughts. So, in my view, okay, just being careful here. In my view, the second option would be more long lasting. Because there's definitely something for you. I mean, the energy drinks may be something you might want to look at, but again, there's
Yeah.
there could be all kinds of things underlying your not sleeping.
But
Yeah.
that was happening to me, and I watched a few short videos online, and because I was going to bed quite early and not being able to sleep and keep waking up through the night, I was trying to get too much sleep. I wasn't needing the amount of sleep that I was trying to get. Now I go to bed around between 11 and midnight, like on a work night, and I'm up at like 6, half 6. I'm a little bit tired in the morning, but I'm good all day, and I don't get tired
Okay, I
unless
don't
I've
have
been
that
non-stop.
problem.
So I've not got the bits in between anymore. I'm going to bed later. I'm having shorter amount of sleep, but it's more solid sleep and
That's
like
good.
deeper sleep.
Yeah.
So I've kind of worked that. It's took me probably about 10 years to work it out, but I've got there, and it's like there's no point me going to bed at 9 o'clock at night
No,
because
if you
I
don't need
won't
it.
sleep, and I'm restless all through the night. Then, whereas I go to bed at midnight, I'm asleep within 10 minutes. I wake up at 4, 5 o'clock every morning, use the bathroom, get back in bed for an hour or so, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like same routine. Excuse me.
I'll go to bed, and no matter what time I go to bed, I'm up like every half an hour, every hour. And then I'll be up for a little bit and then go back to sleep, and then be up for a little bit and go back to sleep.
Hmm.
And I don't know. But I'm not tired.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be because I drink 63 energy drinks a day, but that might
Yeah.
contribute to the not tired.
Have you changed your diet? Because that
No?
has a big effect, like changing the foods that you eat.
Nope.
I don't know.
know.
Well, it would take a whole conversation to dig into that one. Which
Right. No, I'm just saying,
probably
but like
not
a
for
lot of
now.
people would just go to like, oh, I have a problem,
Oh,
sleeping pills.
yes.
That's a solution.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, and no, it's not. It's a it's a band-aid on a
Yep.
whatever the problem is,
Yeah.
and it won't
Exactly.
it won't solve the problem. It's
No, it's a temporary fix, isn't it?
Yep.
and that's what as far as I can tell, just about everything that the medical system does is what happens, is what all they're doing. These are temporary fixes.
It's just
Well, they're managing it. Well,
Innit?
yes, because again, that a lot of the what they provide to people are for managing their symptoms, and they say, oh, you'll have to take these for X number of whatever it is, or probably the rest of your life. You go,
Yeah.
oh, customer, I mean, that's
Yep.
it. And so they're not dealing with what the issue is, that they're just doing something that just reduces the symptoms and thinking, oh, well, the symptoms are reduced, therefore you're better. Well, you're not. It's just your symptoms are reduced, because then there's a whole cascade of side effects, and so you get something else, and then you get something for that, and then just and that's why people end up on 15 pharmaceuticals. It's called polypharmacy, and it's just why? Because they didn't know how to fix, or even they didn't even know how to address the original problem, because they're looking at it from the wrong way, as you say, Nicole. That they're just, oh, here's a pill that'll help you sleep. That's it. Bye. they don't ask you how you are, how your life is. Are you, sitting down, have a real conversation, and to ask you about all aspects of your life to see if there's there's a reason, that there's an actual reason for you to not be sleeping.
Yeah.
Like asking,
It's a knock-on effect.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like somebody who has heartburn every time they eat like a specific food. So instead of stopping eating that specific food, they just take like a Prilosec or something every day for
Yeah.
the rest of their life. Like,
Yeah.
why?
But what if you really like that food? So that's why you do it.
I mean,
Asking
depends
for a
what
friend
it is. Depends what it is.
pastry.
Mm.
So I used to have like sausage rolls and that.
Mhm.
There's a company in the UK called Greg's, and they do like
Oh.
sausage rolls, pies, and all that. And it is really nice. But in fact, every time you had one, I get like really bad heartburn. So I just get like a pack of Rennies because it. And then I just thought, well, I just stop eating it. I don't have to pain twice, aren't I? Really?
You are,
But I have
because
him. Yeah, I have it now and again. That's it.
But I feel
yeah,
like it's different if it's an acute thing rather than like, I'm going to take this medication every day for the rest of my life that gives me these other side effects that I have to take something else for.
absolutely, absolutely.
But
But Rennies aren't the solution either. And then let's
no,
stop advertising for them, because we're
yeah,
not going to do
yeah,
it.
Mhm.
They aren't the solution, because in fact they're adding to the problem, because your stomach is supposed to be acidic. So taking something that stops the
yes,
acid means your stomach is no longer as capable of processing the food, because it's supposed to be acidic. Your stomach is acidic. So taking an antacid is messing about with the chemistry of your
yeah,
digestive system.
Hmm.
yeah, and it just tastes like chalk, and there's no flavour to them. They're awful.
You.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I mean, this is something that I did before I learned.
yeah.
Same thing.
Well, like, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't all the time. It's just
Oh,
I
right.
noticed every time I was having this particular food, it's like I'd make sure I had a pack of antacids at the side of me, and then it's like I just stop eating it. It's not good for you anyway. So, and I just have him now and again now.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Well,
it.
that's the point. Your body can probably tolerate an occasional
Yeah,
something.
now and again. Yeah,
It's just if you're doing it all the time, is your body's and now that was your body saying, "No, stop."
yeah,
And then you
yeah,
go, "No, Rennie, antacid. No,
yeah,
it's not advertised. It's so antacid," and your body's going, "No, please don't."
yeah. But when you were saying about people that are taking them constantly to stop a particular process from happening, I actually know people that do that. So they'll take. I can't remember what they're called. They're like stomach settlers. So they'll take them all the time. So when they go out drinking, it doesn't affect them. They don't get the acid reflux or the heartburn or indigestion. So they have them every day so they can carry on doing their normal everyday life. And that can't be good for you.
No, well, I was going to say no. That isn't. I mean, in my view, what they're doing is they're actually making the problem even worse, because
Yeah,
they're stopping the body's normal message, which is some kind of heartburn, which you just go, "Oh, I don't like that. There's some, got to deal with
yeah,
that." They're suppressing that, so it's going to go even deeper and could cause them even a more sort of another chronic condition, because the body will send the message in some other way at some stage. So
yeah,
yeah, that's the body isn't just a machine. You just throw any old thing in it and just it's not just fuel. Food is not just fuel. There's more
no,
to it than that. It's nourishment, because it's it builds everything that our bodies are made of. It builds all the tissues. So just put decent stuff in that the body can then make all the tissues and renew itself, because the body's constantly regenerating.
yeah,
What is it they say, that different organs are regenerating at different amounts, but every so
yeah.
many years you basically regenerated your whole body.
Every
I think
seven
is it
years.
every 7
Every
years.
7
Yeah.
Yeah,
years, you are a completely new person.
that's why they
Mm.
say about the 7 year itch
Mhm.
because you're
Ah, okay.
complete from inside and out. Yeah,
That's the idea. It's just a question of, do you want to have your new body being healthier and more active and more vital and more, you know, yeah, just I would say better. I don't want to quite use the word better, but you know, more vitalized. You know, more
Yeah, more agile.
yeah, just yes, but more agile, more
Yeah,
vitalized, more yeah, stronger,
yeah,
all of that. So it's a question of what you put in is how you, and again, not just the food, it's, you know, everything you're exposed to. It's also your
yeah,
mindset as well.
yeah,
So
definitely.
And
if there's a 7-year itch, is there also like a 14-year itch?
Yeah, it's every 7 years, so
Oh,
multiples of
jeez.
7.
So every 7 years, you got to watch out.
Yeah, because you have like change of lifestyle, and it's like a whole new environment. That's what they say, isn't it? So that
I
was
don't
to
even
do.
remember what I
I
was
don't
doing
know.
7 years ago.
So when they say when you hit 21, that's
Hmm.
like your adulthood. That's why that came about, was from the obviously the 3 7s, the 21. That's part of that.
but it's not
So
like you know, all your body renews every
no,
7 years, because different organs renew much more quickly.
yeah,
You know, certain
but it's
parts are
like
renewing. Yeah,
within 7 years' time, you have a complete new you. Some
yeah,
might
but
be six and a
some of,
half years old. Some might be a week old. Yeah,
well, quite, because some parts are renewing far more quickly, far more will have renewed a number of times over that
well, yeah,
7
well,
years.
like this, the skin and hair and all that kind of stuff. They're constantly renewing, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, again,
Interesting.
if you want to go down the idea that the body's made of cells, but that's a whole other topic.
Ooh, I'll have to
We're
Um,
do that
told
next
about
time.
cells, but
yeah.
that's not, they're not, cells aren't quite what we think they are. Genes aren't quite what we think they are. DNA is not quite what we think it is. There's, you know, the more people are looking into all of
Ooh,
this stuff, it just isn't, it isn't the way we're told. Because and certainly once you start looking at the science and the papers that say, oh, there's this and this, and this is how it works, and people really start looking and think, actually, that paper, you know, whatever they did, is not what they say, you know, what is within that paper. There's so many different aspects to it that are overlooked, and that, again, in the book, if you've come across it, with the scientific experiments that they create, that they think they're doing something with some kind of process, and they come to conclusions, or they interpret the results in a certain way, and they take absolutely zero notice of the processes along the way, and they think, oh, well, that process doesn't affect it, that's just part of the process to get to the next stage, and they take
yeah,
no account of the actual effects of that process. They so if they so in certain cases, like in the, well, I mean, it should be all right. So in the branch of science called virology, they do all sorts of things in their petri dishes, and they add all kinds of chemicals. They get a result, and they take no notice of the fact they've added all these toxic chemicals. They just go, well, we need to do that because of, you know, for whatever reason, but they don't take account of those processes
right.
as being relevant to the result. And so if it's just, if you're poisoning, if you're putting lots of toxic substances in and something dies, you think, you have to say, oh, part of what we've used here, part of the chemicals that we've added are toxins. So I wonder if they've had an effect on the result. But they just ignore that. They don't look at that. So this is, you know, it's the way they interpret, and of course they use all this wonderful technical language that most people just go, oh, I can't look at these papers because they're
Yeah,
just technical, and it's all jargon, of course, to stop us from looking, and they're all the scientists. And so a lot of people have started to look much more into not just you know, that part of the medical system, but all sorts of other parts, and they're looking and finding that in fact what we've been told isn't quite,
no. Basically, they're
isn't
constantly lying
equivalent,
to us.
not deliberately necessarily, it's just interpretations, you know,
Uh,
and you know, this whole idea that DNA is a double helix, and you go, you know, we're told that as a fact, and you go, well, when you start looking at it, it's not been proven to be a fact. It's not proven in the way that we think, oh, it's been proven. Fascinating,
Oh my
absolutely
gosh.
fascinating. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It opens and just opens up, and you go, okay, so yeah, we
Yeah.
just have to
So,
look at everything differently.
so then, do you think it's left open to interpretation so that they can kind of lie to us without lying to us, and then they turn around and go, "Well, you took it the wrong way."
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
I don't think the people who were doing these original experiments were intending to lie as such.
Yeah.
They just were testing things out, and they were coming to conclusions that weren't appropriate, and
Right.
those conclusions were then jumped on as being useful, and so it's just, they've just carried on doing these experiments without ever going back to the original one and say, well, did that actually prove what we've now assumed? Because you go, well, they proved it. You go, well, did they? And
Yeah.
when you look at
Yeah.
it, the answer is no, they didn't. It's just assumption. So it's not deliberate. Only, of course, once you've gone, spent years training and learning and getting your wonderful certificates and letters after your name and whatever it is, and your funding and your research, and you're in your laboratory and doing wonderful experiments, you don't want to jeopardize that, because you go, well, they
No.
proved it back in whatever it was, 100 years ago. And when people
But
say,
surely, though,
oh, but did they? But did they? And they go, yeah, of
yeah.
course they did. Because
But
they,
surely these experiments, they'd go back to them and try them again to see if they come up with the same results or the same conclusion.
well, some people have been replicating some of those, and
Yeah.
they find that they can't. And that's one of the clues.
Right. That's how they found out.
They're not replicating, because that's one of the things of science. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
replicatable.
Mm-hmm.
And things to do with the human body aren't replicatable anyway, because we are all different. We're not just bits of machine, and they completely ignore the consciousness aspect, because we're not just a bag of chemicals, that they just be manipulated. Oh, add these different chemicals, and then you'll get this result. And it's just not how the body
Yeah.
works, because it's not just a body. They're completely disregarding the mind.
Yeah, well, I run into
And
that
that's,
a lot with the paranormal things. Like, science has to be replicable. It has to, happen every single time for them
yeah,
to take it seriously.
continuous. Yeah.
Yep. And it just doesn't, because they're not counting that human factor, that consciousness, the spirit, whatever.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
And different people, I would imagine, have different paranormal experiences, and yet there could be similarities, but they're
Hmm.
not exactly the same.
And
Yeah.
But,
because you can't get them to do it like on
ah,
command every time.
No, that's it. You go,
but
well, okay, yeah.
it
Mm,
is a good experiment then. So, say the three of us were out on a paranormal expedition,
okay.
and we're all at the same place. We're in this one of Nicole's mad asylum somewhere that's been shut down for God knows how long. And we have an encounter. So it's a shadow person. Nicole hears it. I see it. But Dong, you don't see or hear it. But you can feel something's there, but you're not sure where it was. What if then we used to have not a social experiment, but like a human testing experiment of what we've just been talking about? Would them effects then all be different again? Not just because we had a completely different paranormal experiment, but because of our mindset towards it would be completely different. Even though our bodies are very, very similar, obviously they're not all the same.
Hmm.
I'd say the mindset, expectations would be part of it.
Yeah,
I'm sure all three of us are, open-minded. So, if you had somebody who was completely closed-minded, they could interpret
yeah,
whatever the experience was in a completely different way. So, but yeah, I mean, different people. And you brought up a good point. Different, we have different ways of experiencing. I mean, some people are
yeah,
very visual, and other people aren't. So some people have more acute hearing. So yes, and some
yeah,
people are intuitive. So so it's more a sense rather than a sense of something, rather than actually a visual something. So yeah, I mean, so the experience would be different, even though it's a similar phenomenon, and we could probably have a conversation and realize it's what we're talking about is related, you know.
Yeah.
Being open-minded, we could say, okay, well, that was mine, but yeah, because there's that thing of the, you know, 10 different men, or whatever it is, half a dozen men, you know, blindfolded and touching an elephant and deciding what it is. You know, somebody's
Yeah.
holding the
Yeah.
ear
Yeah.
will have something, a very different experience than somebody who's holding the tail and somebody who's holding the leg, or, you know, touching the
Yeah.
body. You know, it's just different parts, but it's all part of the same thing, but they're having a different experience. It's not quite the same thing, but you know, it's the interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's with anything else too. Any other experience, paranormal or, you know, natural.
Mm.
Like, we would explain the same situation 3 different ways because we have 3 different
Yeah.
perspectives.
Mm.
Like, a dog runs
Yeah.
past, I might not see it, but you see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
That's why
It's
no one can agree on anything.
True. I think. No, I don't agree. Sorry. No, but I get what you mean.
me too. Me too. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
It's this one. It's all. I've said this from day one. It's all very contradictory.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. We need the different perspectives, I think.
Yeah. And even if they do, like, what's the word? Not blend. Drown out. Oh, if it does drown out the other one, so it completely overrides it, it doesn't matter, because otherwise you're not going to have the different opinions of what's gone on, even though it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I suppose depending on our mindset, people can have different filters on, and just like you say, and not literally not see something, or I just, yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, the interpretation is interesting. I suppose expressing whatever the experience is, and it could totally depend, because, you know, people who are not open to paranormal would may, or again, depends on where they are, what their view is, and if they're coming from a place of fear, they could make some story related to what's going on that's not
Yeah.
actually what happened, but it's just because that's how they see it, that's how they perceive it, because of the way they've looked at it, you know. So if they've seen it as something that was related to, you know, films or stuff that they watched, so they've got that filter on, and they'd only see it as something scary or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
Nicola's disappeared.
Yeah. She's done a Houdini act.
Yeah,
But it's like
I was
years
gonna say,
ago.
when I was saying about interpretation, it's like suddenly she
Yeah.
went, it was like, oh, was there something
Yeah.
I said? Strange. Yeah.
But it's like years ago, I used to think ghosts were there to haunt you and scare you and chase you. Do you like you seen the movies like in Scooby Doo and all that? That was my interpretation of it. But now,
Yeah.
it's just a form of energy that's there at the same time as you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes they still want to run off, depending what it looks like. But it's a completely different interpretation to it than what I had 25, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And that comes with, like, knowledge and experience too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how do you interpret what are generally called ghosts? I mean, what's, you know, when you say energies that are here, from in what respect?
See, well, I had a guy on Monday, the paranormal scout, and we had this discussion. I think it was with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's with somebody this week at some point. Or say it's him, say it was Dan. And for me, a ghost isn't necessarily a spirit of a dead person. It's a form of energy that's in the same place. I'm not going to say time, because we know that time doesn't necessarily exist as such, but it's in the same place as you at that moment for whatever reason, whether you've crossed onto their side or they've crossed onto yours, or you're both a little bit in the middle. Because one of my things was, I've never seen a spirit or a ghost of a deceased family member or a friend. Any that I've seen, I've not recognised.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that's a bit of spanner in
from
the works.
Or maybe they're not hanging out outside in like graveyards on benches.
There is that. And that I live 150 miles away from any of them.
Yeah.
Might have something to do with it as well. But even when I was there, the only thing that I've had that was the closest thing was my pet dog when I was like in my teens. And then I'd gone back to my mum's one night and he jumped on the bed and he'd been dead about 15 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it was definitely him. I didn't even have to look. It was him. Yeah. But
well, there's again, as you say, different ideas of what these. One of the things I've been looking into is like the um, it's the work by Michael Newton, sorry, Journey of Souls, and he's saying that there are from he's explaining that there are some souls, if you like, that don't want to leave here. So it doesn't have to be your family. It just that they're reluctant to leave here. So it could still be somebody who is no longer in this physical form, but their spirit, if you like, or their soul is still, or
it's still present. Well,
something.
that was the general chat as when we was talking. It's like maybe they're still here. You've got they call it the same again, back to the number 7, the 7 lives, where you live the life 7 times, a maximum of 7 times, until you've learned what it is you need to know before you can move on to the next stage.
I don't want to do this 7 times.
Mine's about 700, I reckon.
Right here.
Not 7. So
I
I
want
once
to do
put a few
something
notes on the
different.
back of mine.
How do you know you're not? I mean, how would you know what number you're on? Because from what I understand, we come here with whatever it is that's sort of elsewhere, that's not part of us, so that we can learn in authentically, so we can act authentically, so we can go on the journey authentically. Because if we know the other stuff, then that's going to color how we act here. So I don't know if it is, I mean, again, different ideas. If it is 7, it's like, well, how do you know where you are on that scale of 7? So yeah.
I'm probably
what if you
at
don't
1.
learn the lesson the 7th time? What happens? Do you just lose? Game over?
Yeah, you dust, literally, apparently.
God damn it, I never learned my lessons.
I think this is my first one, and everyone is my first one.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
May I, because I'm picky about language, may I suggest that maybe you change your or may I suggest that you have a think about changing your terminology about what you never do, because maybe it's like you don't want to put that out and go, because that'll if you put it out, that
will change everything.
So maybe you don't want to say that you never learn your lessons. You go, okay.
I've learned my lesson.
Change the terminology. We'll pull a Brandon here.
Yeah.
So far, I have not learned my lessons.
Yes,
in
well,
life,
okay,
but I will.
I
change
am
it again.
Yes, and putting it in the present. So again, I mean, Brandon and I have these conversations, about the languaging, and it's so important. And so it's, I kind of, well, it has been difficult. I am now learning my lessons.
I am now learning my lessons.
Yeah. So it's putting it in the present, not I'm going to, because again, that's always in the future. So that's always beyond where you are. So
Yeah.
that's just
Well,
again,
I've got
it's,
mine.
you know, never tell
But
people what to do, but
no.
suggestion. Go on, yes, go on, go on,
I've
Andy.
learned my seven lessons. I cannot
Okay.
subconsciously remember them. Needless to say, though, I'm ready to move on to the next round. Thank you. That's me
Okay.
getting me ticket out of here.
I am learning my lessons,
Mm,
and I am learning my lessons in this go around, so I don't have to do this again.
okay.
Oh,
Why
oh.
why do you want to tick it out of here? Go on, Andy. Sorry.
Just because I don't want to keep doing this, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But then, but if Grasshopper's correct, the Egyptian Book of the Dead is not about the afterlife, but about coming here to Earth and living through the 12 signs to gratitude at the end.
So what are
Graduate.
the graduate? What are the
Your
12
12
signs?
zodiac signs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Oh.
well, I'm definitely on my last one because I'm Pisces. So there you go.
Oh,
Hmm.
great! I'm at number 1, Aquarius.
You're right.
I'm Aquarius.
Is that not the first?
No, it's
Because
not.
it's
First, no,
No.
Aries. Aries, you're 11. You're in 11 then. No, no,
Ooh,
Aries is the first.
we're
oh, is
almost
it?
done.
Oh,
Aries is the first sign. Yeah.
I just thought because it was at the beginning of the year. I don't know
No,
what
no,
order
no,
they
no,
go
no,
in. I've
no,
never really
no,
been into it.
no, no.
Isn't Capricorn at the beginning of the year, though?
No,
Technically,
Capricorn's December. No, that's the
Sagittarius.
no, that's just before Capricorn.
no,
No, it's
it's into
Aries. Aries.
January, right?
No, but no. That's not. No, January is not the beginning of
No.
the year. Aries is the beginning.
Hmm.
That's the spring. Yeah,
No, I don't know.
Aries is the first sign of the zodiac.
Okay. Yeah, I always thought Capricorn because it's January, but
Nope.
that makes
Well,
more
it's
sense.
yes, yeah. No, it's spring. Yeah, Aries. And again,
No.
there's yeah.
Hmm.
Well, when I was at Aries, I was done and ready to go. That's all I'm going to say.
So you're both
Yeah.
Aquarius, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's about
February.
yours is the beginning of Feb, innit? Mine's the end of
Mm-hmm.
January. Yeah.
Dawn, are you February or March Pisces?
March, near the end. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know nothing about star signs. I just know
Oh,
what mine is. That's it.
astrology is fascinating.
It is.
You know, to know that we are influenced. So even that's not. It's not even that. The who we are, how we are here is so connected to what's going on up there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not some separate thing way out there, and you know, we are certainly interconnected. We are influenced by what's going on, and at the moment, there's I know so little compared to, you know, so much, but I've started, you know, getting a little bit more information about it. But you know, there's all these different things, and apparently Pluto's in Capricorn for just a few more days, and it's going to be a good thing that it comes out of Capricorn and moves into Aquarius, which is next week, which will but it's
Yay.
in the last knocking. So yeah, that's one of the things. But there's also the other planets that are in retrograde, which means they're sort of going backwards, and it's just there's so many different influences. And so sometimes, you know, if you're feeling it's like, what's going on, you know, why am I feeling like this, it
Yeah.
might not be your actual circumstances. It may be something to do with what's going on astrologically, and it just it's real, you know. I mean, it's
Funny that
fascinating.
people think that it can't affect you because look at the moon and the tides and everything like that. Like, so what's going on up there has a major effect on what's going on down here.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's not just the sun and the moon. Absolutely, all these other bodies up there. You know,
Yeah.
the lights in the
Would you,
sky and the wandering planet, the wandering stars, and all the sorts of
I
things. So
know.
there's a lot in it. There's a lot in it. It's fascinating, and like I say, I'm on, you know, early baby steps. So loads more to learn.
My head hurts just thinking about it. So
We're gonna have to do an astrology deep dive one day on the show.
yes.
I have like this whole book that says what your birthday says about you. and
Oh,
don't
okay.
wanna
it's
know.
very accurate.
Well, that's
Is it?
exactly what I mean. That when you start
Mhm.
looking at this stuff, you go, "And that's scary accurate." I mean, I had an astrology reading a couple of days ago, and it's like that was very accurate. It's just just blew me away because yeah. So it kind of not just the way you are. It's almost the journey you've chosen in this lively experience. You know, this life experience, this physical reality experience. It's quite amazing. And she's
Yeah.
putting it mildly. Can blow your
Yeah.
mind. But
Right.
then, hey, paranormal is you know, again, it's does that come under paranormal? I suppose to a certain extent, it
Yes.
might. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
I
it
looked.
would have to.
Well, I looked up the true meaning of paranormal, and it's
Oh,
basically
okay.
anything that cannot be explained by science.
There's
So
lots then.
basically, everything has been paranormal
Ev-
at one point.
yeah, everything that the
Mm.
government hasn't put its name to.
Mm.
Is that
Well,
how I read it?
But I'm
again,
saying
the
even like
science.
natural things, everything has been paranormal.
Well, you've got
'Cause-
natural, and you've got supernatural. It's natural, but it's a little bit better than. Do you know
Well,
what I
yeah, I
mean?
mean, the science can't explain how things grow. You know, how an
Nope,
acorn turns into an oak tree.
nope. Or
You
how a
know,
caterpillar turns into a butterfly.
true.
it goes into a little cocoon and turns into
Yeah,
goo, and then like
it,
why?
it
Why does it
can't.
turn into goo?
Yeah, it can't explain how gravity works. Gravity was just a name given because they didn't have anything else, and I think they just plucked it out of a hat. To be honest with you.
And the apple
Well,
So
bonked him on
gravity,
the
yes,
noggin.
and again, that is that's a whole other conversation
yeah,
if
that
you go down that
that
gravity,
blows my mind.
because gravity it doesn't work the way because
No, it's
it's
technically
rubbish.
it doesn't exist.
Exactly,
In
it's
reality, it doesn't
Time doesn't
exist.
exist. Gravity doesn't exist. Do we exist?
yes,
Ish.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, this is a mind-based experience. It's a mind-based universe, so it's a lot of it is, yeah. I
Yeah.
want to say mental, but that can sound like the wrong way because mental's used in the wrong way. But it's a, you
We're
know,
all mental.
well,
In
that's
the
why I didn't want to
conscious.
use that. And yes, it's consciousness based. At the same time, that's not saying it's not real. It is very, very real. It's a very real experience,
Yeah,
and
because
that's
if you're self-conscious, then you know what's real, and or you can work out what's going on, what's real and what's not real. And it doesn't necessarily mean it'd be real. What my real would not be the same for you, Nicole and Dawn, but it's still real to me regardless, same as the other way. And this is what when Brandon's on, we kind of go down that rabbit hole as well, don't we?
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I'm
Every
happy.
time.
I'm happy to dive down that one as well. The what is real again? It's what is real for each of us it's this experience in this, you know, what we call physical reality, because we're talking about, you know, the spirit stuff and being, you know, what the soul is, and it's not the um the level of choices in some respect, you know, to be here is at that level, and we're then experiencing certain experiences in the physical. And it's not to say, oh well, you know, it's not important. It is important. It is real, because we're all, in terms of the greater consciousness, learning through all of our experiences, because we appear to be separate. I sometimes use like an analogy of a tree. So if you think of us as all, you know, different leaves, but we're all attached to the same tree
Yeah.
trunk, and the tree trunk is where we're all connected and where all everything is known. It's just that we're having these seemingly separate experiences as different leaves, but we are
Yeah.
all interconnected.
Yeah. That makes a lot more
Makes
sense. That
sense.
I like that one.
Oh,
I need
thank
to
you.
try and remember that. I'll be
Yeah,
messaging you
that's a
later.
good one.
What was that analogy again with the trees?
What was the thing about the tree?
Mm.
Well, no, that's because it's like you've got the root, yeah, which keeps us where we are, like you said, then you got the trunk, and then we all go off on our own paths, and then individually with the leaves.
Mhm.
And that's how we can access, if you sort of open up and trust telepathy or intuition or the psychic
Yeah,
abilities.
because we have that connection through the branches. It's like veins, isn't it? Really.
Yes, again, it's an analogy, so don't take it too
It's
far.
a good
Don't take
one.
it too. It's yeah, because there's one of the other analogies is using, like the ocean. We're all, Bernardo Kastrup uses we're all whirlpools in the same ocean, or some people say, we're different droplets in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's just somehow people lose that sense of being individual and connected at the same time. That's why just the tree
Yeah.
analogy. Anyway, I've got a thing about trees, so yes, I've got whatever it is with trees at the moment. So
No, that's cool. Well, we have come to the end of the show because we're at 1 hour 45.
Right? Yes.
I know. I was supposed to do 90 minutes. It's just too good to finish.
No. And we're supposed to be on X Network, so
Yes, and I didn't even advertise that. So we are part of. I'm supposed to do it at the beginning, middle, and end, and I keep forgetting. So I'll do it in the middle. So we're on the Unex Network, Paranormal Radio. Go out at 10 p.m. EST on a Saturday evening. So thank you, Margaret and Race, for allowing us to be part of that. I do have some things coming up soon because I've been out doing some filming in Carrick Chase. I've not been filming, I've been being filmed. That's all I can tell you at the moment. There's going to be more to it than that. Hopefully, as long as it all goes well, we're going to be going out to different locations. But also, I'm not going to be doing any live investigations on the channel anymore. It's just going to be studio stuff. But there will be there will be pre-recorded live investigations, but it's not going to be me that's doing it. That's all I can tell you at the moment.
I love when you try to explain things without explaining it.
You might find out more next week.
Mr. Mysterious.
Right?
Yeah. So just in talks with somebody about doing something different so I can concentrate on doing this and going out and investigating without having to do the filming. I can just go out, do it, and be filmed doing it.
And my live investigations are on TikTok, so go watch them over there.
Oh, I got paid from TikTok.
Oh, cool.
So after 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
are you ready? How much do you think I got?
$3.
No. £1.92. $2.60.
Wow.
I know.
Nearly right. She was close.
How amazing.
Close.
Yeah.
Nearly £2. Nearly £2 after 18 months. I don't know what I'm going to do with the money.
I don't know. Yeah, we're
Buy a
working on
new
it.
pen.
More tinsel.
Not got enough. That was £3.
You could
I
buy a
couldn't even
cat
do that.
ball.
Yeah, no.
They're like $1.
Yeah, but you've got about like 5 or 6 at a time, or you got to pay for postage. Anyway, Ghost Post. Still waiting.
Ghost Post. Oh, I got something to put in the next Ghost Post.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you'll see it, in a couple years.
Yeah, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So Nicole Crocher's mini ghosts that you put cat balls inside, and she's been sending them since before Easter, and we're now at Christmas.
And I lost I crocheted them, and then I lost the
package
envelope with them in it because it's been so long. So you might get some 3D printed ones.
These crochet ghosts are probably real ghosts by now.
Probably. They are ghosts. They're somewhere. They have Simon check the back of his van.
Yeah, they probably are. It won't surprise me. Right. So on that note, we are going to have to end it, unfortunately. But the next time you come on, are you able? Because we've got a couple of questions. I don't want to do them now. I want to save them for if we're going to talk about astrology.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
As I say, I'm not
I'm
super.
just gonna get a photo of the questions so I don't forget. No, it's just to do with health and
Oh, yes, yes. I know somebody who does something called medical astrology. So yes,
oh,
these things. Yeah, again,
well,
astrologically
well, the thing
tendencies.
is, we're going to use this stream every time when we do this one every 6
Mhm.
weeks.
Oh, so
So
they'll
the question,
stay.
yeah, so we can reuse
Mhm.
them rather than keep creating the same one. If it's the same guest coming on, we just keep the same stream, so it's the same link every time. Just makes it easy for all of us.
Oh,
All
well,
right, we
yeah,
should outro and
yes,
then set a date for next time.
absolutely.
Yes, yeah, it's 6 weeks if
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
That takes us basically to either Christmas or New Year or something. So
27th of December, the Friday after Christmas. Not like the Wednesday that I said, come, we can do the 25th.
We
Because
can
I'm like,
do
oh,
the Christmas special
because
on
we'd gone off
Christmas.
air. I said, we can do the Christmas special. What if we do it on the 25th? And Nicole's like, I'm going to be out all day.
because
What,
it's
all
Christmas.
day? She went,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I'm going to be out with family and friends and that. I'm like,
And you're gonna
what,
get in trouble if
all
you try to
day?
do a stream
She
on
went, yes,
Christmas.
it's Christmas Day. I'm thinking I'm looking at November. I'm looking at December, aren't I? I'm like, yeah, forget that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what do we have next week, real quick?
So
Do you know what
next
we have next
week,
week?
so Monday, I've got Ben and Ian. They were the guys that I was out filming with. That's where I'm doing the talk in September for Paracon. They're the guys that setting that up. On the 20th, got Brian on Wednesday, Brian Kano. So you need to be on next Wednesday because
I'm
he's
here.
your guest.
I'm here.
And then next Friday, got Ed and Josh, Black and White Podcast. They two of the guys that was there in Cannock when we did the filming. They go out investigating. They've got loads of stuff going on, and they're such great guys, such a laugh, and they've got loads and loads of stuff going on. And yeah. So they're from over there between Cambridge and Norwich. So they're over that way, where like Suffolk area, where there's a lot of paranormal activity going on. And then on Monday, the 25th of November, we've got Mark Ollie, who was this Wednesday's guest. He's coming back on, and he's gonna be talking about faking the moon landing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a Monday. Can you get that Monday off work?
Oh, stop doing things on Monday when I can't go.
Monday
All
the
the interesting
25th.
things. No.
You need to.
I want to talk about the moon landing.
What moon landing?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Didn't
Yeah.
happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a good conspiracy.
What did I call it? Just a quick look. Where's it gone? No. I think I've called it faking the moon landings or something like that. The title of it. I wrote it down somewhere and I can't find where I wrote it. That's strange. But yeah, the faking of the moon landings instead of the making of the moon landings.
Very
That's
good.
quite apt.
Talk about conspiracies, man.
Yes. Oh, there's loads. There's loads.
When we bring
Oh,
back
yes.
eerie encounters, we're talking conspiracies.
We've got loads of conspiracy stuff coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good.
and then on the 29th of November, got Adam Butler, DMT recipes. Which I know you know as well, don't you, Dawn? Through Brandon.
Yeah, I know of him. I haven't connected with him, but I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, quite a few interesting guests. I've also reached out to a couple of famous paranormal people. Just waiting to carry on the conversation, and then we'll see what happens.
Tell me after. I want to know who they are.
Will do. Yes. So going to end this
Exciting.
now. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Nicole, for showing up.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been a while. No, as you know, you're more than welcome. So, yeah, that's it. Have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, I'm back on Monday with Ben and Ian of Paracon, BIB Paranormal. Then Brian K. Is it Kano? Brian Kano? Cano. On the 20th, and then Ed and Josh on the 22nd. And then we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday the week after. Yeah, so busy all the way up to January. Oh, we've got 2 weeks off. We're doing that Friday if we can all do it. But other than that, doing nothing between Christmas and New Year. Then we're back on the 4th of January. Or 5th. I can't remember. 3rd. Oh, God.
Just end it.
Can I
Just
go
end it,
now?
man.
Can I go now? Right, I'm going.
Yes.
Right, have a great weekend.
Thank
See you all
you.
Monday. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.